Would you believe me if I told you that being unhealthy depends on how you look at your condition? Rachel Cooper, in her paper titled Disease, argues that whether or not you're unhealthy is determined, at least in part, by how you look at the world and your condition. This type of view is sometimes called a constructivist view of health and disease. On Cooper's constructivist account, a condition has to meet 3 conditions in order to be considered unhealthy. First, it has to be a bad thing for you to have. Second, it has to be unlucky for you to have that condition. And finally, it has to be something that is potentially medically treatable. In this video, I'll be taking a deeper look into this particular constructivist account of health and disease. So, in order for a condition to be considered a disease on Cooper's account, it has to be a bad thing to have. Super specific, right? No, not really. But what she says in her paper does give us some insight as to what it means for something to be bad for you. For instance, she makes a comparison between diseases and weeds. Weeds are only bad for your lawn if you don't want them there. In a similar way, a condition is bad for you only if you don't want to have that condition. So if you're fine with having some broken bones, then it's not bad for you to have broken bones. This means that, on her account, some condition is unhealthy for you only if you don't want to have that condition. But that's not all. In order for a condition to be a disease, it has to be something that's unlucky for you to have. Well, what does she mean here by unlucky? We're unlucky when we could have reasonably hoped to have been better off, and we have reason to believe that others are generally better off than we are. So someone hitting your car in a parking lot is super unlucky, and so is having a bunch of broken bones. But what if everyone is suffering from something terrible? What about the victims of the plague? Yeah, we can count them as unlucky too, because we could imagine that everyone could have been better off. Now, you might be thinking that there are conditions that are both bad and unlucky to have, but are clearly not unhealthy to have. For instance, you might think that losing one of your favorite books or being single are examples of things that are both bad for you and unlucky. Perhaps you really want to be in a happy relationship and you realize that so many other people are happy in their relationships. But you might think, even if being single is bad and unlucky, it seems clearly wrong to say that being single is unhealthy. That's where Cooper's third condition comes in. It's not enough that a condition is bad and unlucky. In order for a condition to be unhealthy, that condition must be at least potentially medically treatable. There isn't any medical cure for singleness or for losing your book. What's more, these things are not even potentially medically treatable. Medicine is not focused on helping you find your lost book. This means that finding a lost book is importantly different from a cancer for which we do not yet have a cure. Of course, Cooper's going to need some understanding of what the goals of medicine are, since for all we know, it might be a matter of medicine to help you find your partner. On this front, she gives one possibility. We can say that what counts as medicine is any evidence-based service provided by doctors and clinicians, where doctors and clinicians are those who have the requisite knowledge of the human body. Now, I don't have time to fill in the details of this account to tell you whether or not it has serious problems, but the important thing to take away here is that the plausibility of Cooper's constructivist account of health and disease will, at least in part, depend on what services someone considers to be within the scope of medicine. Thanks for watching 5 Minute Ethics. Please like and subscribe.